Hey there, friend. Chances are, if you're listening to the Inventory Genius podcast, it's because, well, you really want to become an inventory genius. If that's you, then let's stop just listening. Let's stop just collecting information. Let's start doing. I want to invite you to grab your copy of the Inventory Genius book. I wrote this book with you in mind. It delivers bite-sized actionable steps that will help you use your inventory to create more profit and keep more cash in your business. This is a really easy to read book. In fact, I designed it specifically for the busy inventory-based business owner. It only takes about 2 hours to make your way through, and you're going to leave with practical bite-sized steps so you can start implementing the principles of the Inventory Genius method immediately. Head on over to Ciara, Stockeland.com, where you can grab your ebook, your Audible version, or the printed copy. Enjoy! Hey friend, welcome to the Inventory Genius podcast, where we work together here to make you an inventory genius. We talk about profit, we talk about cash flow, and we definitely talk about your paycheck. Because at the end of the day, it's all related to your inventory. Let's go. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the Inventory Genius podcast. I am your host, Ciara, and today we are going to dive into part 2 of what makes a good coaching client. Now, why am I talking about what makes a good coaching client? Because each and every one of you in your business at some point will be coached, whether that is with a formal business coach or consultant, whether that is with a mentor, another business in town that you collaborate with, you connect with, and you're asking for advice and help. Whether that be sometimes by our people, by our teammates, by our employees, right? We are asking for help, for guidance, for instruction, sometimes formally, sometimes informally. And I think it's really important for us as business owners to become coachable people. We want to be coachable, meaning we want to be someone that other experts want to invest in. We want to make sure that when we ask for advice and help, that we get the most out of it because we are coachable. And so today we're going to dive into part 2 of what makes a coachable client. All right. So last week, part 1, we said the 3 components to a coachable client were someone that follows the plan, someone that works with intention, and someone that is willing to share everything. You're not going to hold back. You are going to share all of the things that you need help with, all of the details. We're going to lay it all out on the table. So today I want to talk through the next three things, or the last 3 things of what I see as making a coachable client. The first is taking inventory weekly, and I don't mean physical inventory. The next thing is knowing your numbers, and followed up by show up. Okay, so number 4, take inventory weekly. What do I mean by this? Now, usually when I say take inventory, I mean physically count your inventory, right? Count it, take that inventory, know exactly what you have on hand. When I'm talking about making yourself a coachable client, taking inventory weekly, we're talking about taking a look at what's going on every week. Digging in. Last week we talked about being intentional. So looking intentionally at what's happening, taking inventory of your business. What's working? What's not working? Where am I following through with my plan? Where am I falling short? Where could I do a better job? Staying and remaining curious about your business. A good coachable client is someone that's constantly evaluating the plan that we've created, and they're taking inventory, in air quotes, of what's happening. They're remaining curious in your business. Now, why do we want to do this? Because if we just make a plan and we set it in place and we don't follow through, we don't check up, we don't hold ourselves accountable to that plan, we don't stay curious about what's working and what's not working, we can easily find ourselves back where we started all over again, without any progress being made. So you want to be someone that is constantly evaluating what is happening, what's working, that you are remaining curious in your business. All right, number 5, know your numbers. So you might come to me and say, I don't know any numbers, Ciara. That's why I want to start working with you. Once you start working with a coach, they're going to give you key performance indicators, or KPIs. These are things that are going to measure your progress. And as a coaching client, if you are a good coaching client, you want to know those numbers. What are my key performance indicators? In other words, what are the things that are showing that the needle's moving? What's my gas gauge, right, for my business? And I want to become familiar with how to find those numbers, how to evaluate those numbers, and that I know them. So when I start working with a client, of course, we're talking all things numbers, all things financial. So we might dig into, let's say, their debt. Okay, how much debt do you have? What are your interest rates on your debt? What are your terms on your debt? And often when I first ask those questions, we don't know. So we know I have about 150,000 in debt, but where that is, I'm not sure. I mean, maybe 29,000 in a credit card over here, and I'm not sure what the interest rates are and the terms of this loan or the terms of that loan. After we put a plan in place, we need to know those numbers. What are my interest rates? What are my highest credit cards? What are the loans that I have the most money outstanding on? How are those getting paid off? What does my debt to income ratio look like? So we get to begin to get really familiar with the numbers of that one key performance indicator, that debt to income ratio. Maybe we start looking at your margin and we dig into your margin, and you might not know your margin when we start. That's okay. But then we're going to find what that margin is. We're going to start evaluating our margin constantly, meaning weekly, looking at where our margin is falling. We're going to know where we want to be and the steps we need to take to get there. A good coaching client knows their numbers. And if they don't know a specific number, they know where to find it so that they can truly measure and track results. And then the last thing, and such an important piece, show up. Show up. Don't expect progress if you don't show up to get the work done. I often tell my profit mastermind clients when I start with them, there's kind of a life cycle to coaching. You have a pain point, something that's really bothering you. So you hire and you get some help. You get to the point where you say, you know what, I'm willing to pay for some help. So you hire a business coach like myself. I come in, we get really excited. We're going to make progress. We're going to have work that's going to be accomplished. Things are going to get done. And so as a client, you get really excited. You go to work, you say, I'm all in. And then we hit a roadblock. Something happens and it gets really difficult. Maybe the debt doesn't get paid off as fast. Maybe our sales decrease. Maybe a key employee leaves. Maybe we lose a product supplier. Things come up in business. We hit a roadblock. We get to a point where we start struggling. And what we want to do is we want to shrink back and disappear. We don't want to show up because I didn't get my homework done. I don't know if she's going to like the answer to my question. I wasn't supposed to spend money and I did it anyway. I went to market and didn't use my budget like I said I was going to. There's lots of reasons why we decide we don't want to show up and do the work. We're embarrassed, we're confused, we're overwhelmed, we hit a roadblock. It's so important that a good coaching client puts on their radar that this is a normal feeling. This is going to happen. We're going to get really excited and then we're going to hit a low. We're going to get overwhelmed. We're going to get stuck. And that, I tell clients, more than any other time is when you need to show up. When you feel like you don't want to show up for a call with me, more than ever, that's when you book that call and you show up because there is work that needs to get done. So let's recap again. What makes a coachable client? What makes a good coaching client? They're willing to follow the plan. They're willing to work with intention. They're willing to share everything about their problems. They are taking inventory, in air quotes, weekly of what's going on in their business. They know their numbers or know where to find their numbers, and they are willing to show up even when they don't want to. All right. I want to challenge you with those thoughts today. What of those 6 areas do you feel like you could improve on? Where do you feel like you could build some more coachable mindset into your everyday? Where could you grow when it comes to being a good coaching client? I would love to hear from you. Shoot me an email, hello@ciarastockeland.com. Tell me what you're working on. Tell me where you feel like you need coaching. Reach out. Find me at ciarastockeland.com for a lot of amazing resources when it comes to inventory and profitability. I want to coach you. And if I can't coach you, I want to point you in the direction of someone who can. Thank you for tuning in this week. I'll see you all next week. Bye for now. Hey friend, thank you so much for tuning in today to the Inventory Genius podcast. If there's something that you heard today on the podcast episode and you want to dig deeper into becoming an inventory genius yourself,
I want to invite you to head on over to my website, ciarastockeland.com, where I have multiple ways that you and I can work together on your inventory. I want to help you with your profit, your cash flow, and your paycheck, because at the end of the day, it's all related to your inventory. So head on over to the website, connect with me. I'll work with you soon. See you then. Hey there, friend. So I've already invited you to grab your copy of the Inventory Genius book. But if you're ready to go a step further and dive in, if you want a quick start to becoming an inventory genius, then I want to also invite you to grab your seat and the Quick Start to Inventory Genius course. This really easy to digest course is going to include all the tools, spreadsheets, and systems you need to implement the Inventory Genius method immediately in your business. We'll talk about creating an open to buy plan. We'll talk about creating a profit plan. We'll talk about creating a business budget. And then we cap it all off with a private one-on-one call, you and me. Yep, that's right. The Quick Start to Inventory Genius course includes a one-on-one coaching call with me. So you can go through the book, you can go through the Quick Start to Inventory Genius course, you can write down your questions, and then you and I can get on the phone and problem solve together. Head on over to ciarastockeland.com, grab your seat at the Quick Start to Inventory Genius course. See you there. Hey there, friend. Do you have an e-commerce business or an online store and you are ready to boost its performance in 2024? Then it's time to make sure that your website is primed and ready for success. I want to introduce you to Make Them Chat. Make Them Chat is a leading website and branding agency dedicated to enhancing e-commerce stores. And here's where their expertise lies. They create visually appealing Shopify storefronts that are optimized for conversions, because that's what we want, right? We want conversions. So head on over to makethemchat.com and get ready to say goodbye to DIY websites and invest in a winning online presence that truly reflects your goals.